Those who have joined the class, they can give their attendance. I repeat, those who have joined the class, they can give their attendance in the chat box. Okay, I can see that 12 people have already joined, so I will not waste any more time. Let us start the class. Can anyone confirm me whether my slides are visible to you or not?
Yes,
It is
sir.
visible,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Visible, sir.
Okay, 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 fine. Okay, let me give you a brief summary of what we have did in the last class. In the last class, if you remember, we have compared the three different theories of failure on a common sigma 1 versus sigma 2 plot. Then we took the values of sigma 1 and sigma 2 for each of the quadrant, and then we have decided that which theory of failure will be best to predict the failure criteria. After that, we solved two problems related to different theories of failure. I hope those two problems will be clear to you. So in today's class, we will be continue to solve some more problems. If you have missed somehow yesterday's class, you can check the Google Classroom. Already I have posted the yesterday's class lecture in that Google Classroom. Fine. Let us solve the third numerical. Let us read the numerical. What the problem is telling you is a wall bracket with a rectangular cross section is shown in the figure. The depth of the cross section is twice of the width. Width is t and depth is twice of width. That means 2 times of t. The force P acting on the bracket at 60 degree to the vertical is 5 kilonewton. You can see at this particular point one force is acting which is making an angle 60 degree with respect to the vertical. This force, the value of this force P is 5 kilonewton. Value of this force P is 5 kilonewton. Material of the bracket is grey cast iron Fg200 and factor of safety, that is FOS, is 3.5. Determine the dimensions of the cross section of the bracket. That means you need to find out what will be the value of width T and what will be the value of depth, which is 2 times of width. And you have to solve this problem by maximum normal stress theory of failure, and this is the bracket which is given to you in the diagram. Is the question clear? Hello.
Yes, sir. It is clear.
Fine. So
Yes,
this
sir.
is your bracket. Now this bracket is at a distance of 300 mm. That means from this end to this fixed end. This is 300 mm, and from this particular end and to this end, this vertical length is 150 mm, and this dash dot dash dot dash line is nothing but the neutral axis of the bracket. At the free end of the bracket, one force is acting which is making an angle 60° with respect to the vertical. That means if I draw the free body diagram of this bracket, then I have to resolve this 60° force into two components. One component will be the horizontal component and another component will be vertical component PV. Can you tell me what is the magnitude of horizontal component PH and PV? What is the value of horizontal component PH and PV?
Sir, horizontal component will be pH as it is, but the horizontal component of PV will be 0.
Why it will be 0? This force P is making an angle 60° with respect to this vertical. Then I have to resolve this force P into two components. One component is this horizontal component which is PH, and the another component is this vertical component PV. Then I know from the geometry that this PV will be P cos 60 and this PH will be P sin 60. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Then why you said 0?
Sir, I thought we need to, the PV
No,
should be
see,
plotted along pH.
if you see in the last problem which we discussed in the last class, that means this problem. Which problem I'm talking about is this particular problem. Here also we need to draw the free body diagram in order to solve the problem. So for this problem also we have to draw the free body diagram. It is very much clear from the diagram that this inclined force P, which is making an angle 60° with this respect to the vertical, will be having two components. One is horizontal component PH, whose value will be P sin 60, and the vertical component PV, its value will be P cos 60. Why this PV will be P cos 60? Because 60° is with respect to this vertical. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
बाकी लोगों को कोई डाउट है? PH P cos 60 P sin 60 क्यों हुआ और PV का वैल्यू P cos 60 क्यों हुआ? क्लियर है?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, can you tell me what is this 200? It is written in the question that the material of the bracket is grey cast iron FG 200. What is this 200? Which value? Whether it is SYT or it is SUT?
SUT.
Yes, it is SUT, because we know that the grey cast iron is a brittle material and we know that brittle material fails at the ultimate point, ultimate strength point. So this FG 200, this value of 200 is nothing but SUT. Fine, okay. So you have to determine the dimension of this bracket. That means how much will be the width and how much will be the depth by normal stress theory of failure. So for that I have to recall what is my normal stress theory of failure. According to normal stress theory of failure, any mechanical component will fail when maximum normal stress or maximum principal stress of that component. In this problem, this is my component. When maximum principal stress of this component will be equal to the maximum principal stress of the component which you are testing in UTM. Fine. That means the maximum principal stress of this problem, you have to equate it with the maximum principal stress of the standard specimen which you are testing it in UTM. And we know that in UTM, if this is my bar, I test my bar only in one direction. Only in one direction I apply load in UTM. That means this is my sigma 1, this is my sigma 2, and in UTM failure takes place at the yield point. At the yield point, since in this question it is a brittle material, so failure will be what? Ultimate point. So this value of maximum stress will be what? Will be ultimate strength point. But if you see in this diagram, there are two component of force. One is component PH and another one is component PV. Can you tell me the horizontal component of PH will be doing what in the component? That means ये जो horizontal component है PH, इससे इस particular component में क्या होगा? क्या
सर बेंडिंग मोमेंट होगा सर, इसके वजह से, पीएच के वजह
PH के वजह से बेंडिंग मोमेंट होगा। अच्छा, और कोई? पीएच क्या करेगा इस पूरे प्रॉब्लम में और पीवी क्या करेगा इस पूरे प्रॉब्लम में? ये हमारा मेन मुद्दा है, उसके बाद प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होगा। अगर यही पता नहीं चल पा रहा है कि पीएच के वजह से कौन सा स्ट्रेस जनरेट होगा इस प्रॉब्लम में और पीवी के वजह से कौन सा स्ट्रेस जनरेट होगा, तो मैं सॉल्व नहीं कर पाऊंगा प्रॉब्लम को आगे। तो पहले आपको प्रॉब्लम को देख के ये पता करना पड़ेगा कि पीएच इस पर्टिकुलर बॉडी में क्या इफेक्ट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है और पीवी इस पर्टिकुलर बॉडी में क्या इफेक्ट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है। आसिफ ने बोला पीएच करेगा, बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस क्रिएट करेगा। और कोई आंसर, कोई कुछ देना चाहेगा? सोचो, सोच के बोलो।
Sir, I think PV will create bending stress and pH tensile stress.
Partly correct, partly incorrect. Now I am telling you, see, मेरा बार कैसा है? मान लो ये मेरा मोबाइल मेरा हॉरिजॉन्टल बार है और ये जो मेरा पेन है ये यहाँ से टिल्ट है, यहाँ पे एक फिलेट है, हल्का सा फिलेट है और ये ऐसा टिल्ट है, ठीक है। अब क्या हो रहा है कि pH, you are applying pH in this direction, so pH will try to make this vertical portion of the bar horizontal, yes or no? pH, due to this horizontal force pH, what it will do? It will try to make this vertical portion of the bar horizontal, yes or no? Hello?
Yes, sir.
फाइन। अगर pH जो वर्टिकल मेंबर है, अगर pH के वजह से वो वर्टिकल मेंबर हॉरिजॉन्टल होगा तो आपका जो ओवरऑल बार है वो क्या हो रहा है? वो एक्सटेंड हो रहा है कि नहीं? ये वर्टिकल मेंबर है, ये हॉरिजॉन्टल मेंबर है, यहां से मैंने pH अप्लाई किया तो ये टेंशन में लग रहा है। तो ओवरऑल स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम दिस पॉइंट A to this point, overall the entire body will be in tension due to the presence of load pH, yes or no? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fine. And both pH, this is first one, that means pH is creating tensile stress in the entire component. सेकेंड, और क्या जनरेट हो रहा है इसमें? बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस भी जनरेट हो रहा है। कैसे हो रहा है? इफ यू टेक द मोमेंट PV into 300, PV into 300 plus PH into 150 at point A or at section XX. If you take moment at section XX, how? PV into 300 plus PH into 150. ये दोनों क्या करेगा? ये दोनों मोमेंट सेक्शन XX के अबाउट पूरे बॉडी को बेंड करेगा कि नहीं करेगा?
Yes, sir. It will bend.
PV
Yes, sir.
into 300, that is one moment, plus PH into 150. Fine. PV into 300 plus PH into 150 will try to bend this entire component about this section XX. Fine. That means this is a case of combined loading problem. That means in this particular problem, force P is making two component. One is component PH, horizontal component, whose value is P sin 60, and another one is vertical component PV, whose value is P cos 60. This P sin 60 alone is creating tensile stress in the entire problem or at section XX. But PV into 300, this moment, plus horizontal force PH into 150, this moment. Combined effect of these two moments is creating what? Is creating bending at section XX. That means the entire problem, tensile stress is also acting as well as the bending stress is also acting. So once you have to find out the value of tensile stress, in the second step you will find out the value of the bending stress. Then the total stress in the problem is how much, because always you have to design for maximum condition, because if in the for the maximum condition, if your body can resist load and stresses, then for all other condition your body will be safe. So the overall stress generated in the problem is how much? One is the tensile stress sigma t due to horizontal force ph, and another one is the bending stress generated due to moment. Which moment? PV into 300 plus pH into 150. With that you will get one bending stress. So the overall stress of the problem is what? Sigma B plus sigma T. Now this overall stress you have to equate with the maximum permissible stress of the problem, which we will find it out from these two terms, that is Fg 200, in which 200 is my ultimate tensile strength, and this 3.5, which is my factor of safety. If I equate this maximum permissible stress with the maximum stress generated in the problem, then we can get the value of T and 2T. Is the process clear? क्या किसी को कोई doubt है?
No, sir.
Okay, now let us find it out. I need to calculate what? First, I need to calculate the maximum permissible tensile stress of the problem. So, how to find out the value of maximum permissible stress? For that, wait. Can you see my white screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We know that factor of safety is how much? It is failure stress divided by permissible stress or allowable stress. So from this equation I can write permissible stress is equal to failure stress by factor of safety. So now in this problem, failure stress is what? Failure stress is nothing but the ultimate strength, because the entire bracket is made up of cast iron, and the grade of cast iron which the designer has used to produce this bracket is Fg 200. That means SUT is 200. So in this formula, my failure stress is nothing but my SUT divided by factor of safety. Factor of safety is also given in the problem. Factor of safety is 3.5. So I will get the value of permissible stress. And that permissible stress sigma is nothing but SUT by factor of safety, which is 200 divided by 3.5, that is 57.14 Newton per mm square. Equation number 1. Is the step clear? Step 1. Quit out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what is this value of sigma? This is the maximum permissible tensile stress due to this material. Since the bracket is made up of this material, so maximum stress that this particular bracket can sustain is how much? It is 57.14 Newton per millimeter square. Now I have to equate this particular value, this permissible stress value, which with value with the maximum stress generated due to this particular load P. One stress will be tensile stress plus another stress will be bending stress due to this PV into 300 moment plus PH into 150 moment. So let us find it out. So before that, let us resolve this force P into two component. The horizontal component PH will be P sin 60 and the vertical component PV will be P cos 60. So P sin 60, P is given in the problem, that is 5 kilonewton. So PH comes out to be 4330.13 Newton and PV is P cos 60. P is 5 kilonewton. If you solve it, you will get the value of PV as 2500 Newton. Is the step clear? pH is 4330.13 Newton and PV is 2500 Newton. क्या कोई डाउट यहाँ तक?
No, sir.
Okay. Now from the problem, after drawing the free body diagram, I understood that PV into 300 plus this pH into 150 is creating what? It is creating a bending stress in the entire cross section of the problem at particular section XX. So I know the how I will design this problem on the basis of bending stress. I know the bending equation, and that bending equation is what? M by I equal to sigma by y, which is equal to E by R. Since in the problem nothing has been told about the value of E and R, so I will exclude this third one and I will take these two as a combination. If you take these two as a combination, your sigma will become M into Y by I. So in order to find out the value of bending stress sigma, first we need to find out what is the overall bending moment in the problem, what is the value of y, and what is the value of I, that is moment of inertia. So let us find it out. Bending moment MB will be pH into 150. That means this pH into 150. Distance always I will take from the neutral axis. pH into 150. Fine. Now if you see, this pH into 150 is doing what? It is creating a hogging bending moment. Hogging is like this. This is hogging and downward is sagging. You can take, if you are taking sagging positive, you have to take hogging negative as a sign convention, or if you are taking hogging as a positive, you have to take sagging negative. Here I am assuming that the hogging is positive. Fine. So it will be pH into 150 plus PV. The load PV into 300 is also creating hogging bending moment like this. So PV into 300. See, pH into 150 plus PV into 300. pH and PV already you have calculated. You put the values of pH and PV in this equation, you will get the value of bending moment MB, and that is coming out to be 1399.52 into 10 to the power 3 Newton millimeter. क्या यहाँ तक क्लियर है? MB तक क्या किसी को कोई डाउट MB तक?
No, sir.
Okay, next I have to find out the value of moment of inertia also, because in this expression moment of inertia as well as y is also there. So let us find it out, the value of moment of inertia. That is what, since the cross section is rectangle, and if I assume say this is x axis and this is y axis and my neutral axis is passing along the x axis, so the moment of inertia will be B. B means T into D cube. D cube means 2T whole cube divided by 12. B D cube by 12. So moment of inertia is T into 2T cube by 12 mm to the power 4. And what is the value of Y? Value of Y is nothing but it is the distance from the neutral axis. Either you can take this upward distance or you can take this downward distance, this bottom distance. It is how what this, well, if this entire thing is 2T, that means from neutral axis this much portion is T and this downward portion is T. So the value of Y is T. Value of Y is your T. 2 cancel, it comes out to be T. Fine. Okay, now since I got the value of I got the value of Y and MB, I will substitute all these values in this equation. Sigma is equal to M into Y by I, and I will find out the overall bending stress in the problem. So sigma is mb into y by I. Mb just now we have calculated, y also we have calculated, that is t divided by I. I is nothing but 1 by 12 t into 2t cube. If you solve this expression, you will get the value of bending stress to be 2099.28 into 10 to the power 3 upon t cube Newton per millimeter square. क्या यहाँ तक क्लियर है? सिग्मा वी वी का वैल्यू कोई
सर एक
डाउट?
डाउट है
हाँ बोलो।
सर, y का वैल्यू हम लोग ले रहे हैं हाफ इंटू 2t, दैट मींस
यस, ये एक सेकंड मेरे को डायग्राम।
सर why not half into t?
हाफ इंटू
t
टी। सी इफ दिस इज योर, ओके फाइन, इफ दिस इज योर बीम, if this is your beam, this is your neutral axis, fine. Once you apply any load on the beam, so beam will bend somewhat like this. Now your new neutral axis is this one. Fine. And if I see the bending stress distribution along the neutral axis is like this. Here sigma is maximum over here, and sigma bending is minimum over here, and we take it along the x-axis. We don't, because the entire body is bending along the x-axis. If the bending is happening along the y-axis, then I should have taken the value of y equal to what you are telling. You have to see where the bending is happening, along which axis the bending is happening. Along that axis only you have to take the value of y. अगर बेंडिंग हो रहा है y एक्सिस के अलोंग, देन आपको y एक्सिस वाला जो आपका हाफ ऑफ द न्यूट्रल एक्सिस है वो लेना पड़ेगा, और अगर x एक्सिस के अलोंग बेंडिंग हो रहा है तो वो एक्सिस का जो हाफ होगा वो आपका न्यूट्रल एक्सिस का वैल्यू होगा।
okay sir.
Okay, so I got the value of sigma b to be 2099.28 into 10 to the power 3 upon t cube Newton per millimeter square. क्या कोई डाउट है यहाँ तक किसी को? बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस कैसे निकला? हेलो?
No sir.
Okay, fine. From the problem, we also noticed that this pH, this horizontal component of the force, what it is doing, it is trying to, or it is making this vertical component of this bar horizontal. That means there will be what? There will be overall tension in the entire bar. And if there will be a tension in the entire bar, then the tensile stress will be acting in this entire bar, and that tensile stress is what? Tensile stress is nothing but load divided by cross sectional area. Which load I have to take? I have to take this horizontal component of load, pH divided by area. Area is nothing but this rectangle, length into breadth, which is t into 2t. So the tensile stress generated due to the horizontal component of the force pH is sigma t is equal to pH by A. pH already we have calculated, that is P sin 60, which is 4330.13 divided by area. Area is T into 2T. T into 2T. So the value of sigma t comes out to be 2165.07 divided by t square Newton per millimeter square. क्या ये क्लियर है सिग्मा टी का वैल्यू? कोई डाउट किसी को यहाँ तक?
No sir.
Okay, and since we know that whenever we are designing any problem or any particular machine component or any particular machine member, always we have to design for the maximum stress condition. Fine. So maximum stress generated in the problem will be how much? Will be sigma b plus sigma c, sigma t. This is the maximum stress generated in the problem. So sigma b is 2099.28 into 10 to the power 3 by t cube plus 2165.07 by T square. Fine. So this is your overall stress. Now, according to principal stress theory, any mechanical component, and for this problem, my mechanical component is this particular bar. It will fail when the maximum principal stress generated in the problem. For this problem, the maximum principal stress generated is nothing but the sigma T, which is sigma B plus sigma T. This value will be equal to the permissible stress of the problem. Permissible stress of the problem already we have calculated, that is 57.14. So I will equate this 57.14 with this equation number 2, and then you solve it. If you solve it, you will get some cubic equation. Cubic, that is T cube minus 37.89T minus 36739.24 equal to 0. If you solve this cubic expression, you will get 3 roots. 2 roots will be negative and 1 root is positive. You have to remove that negative root because thickness cannot be negative. You have to take that positive root, and that positive root of T is coming out to be near about equal to 33.65 mm. Since this 33.65 mm is difficult to produce, it is difficult to produce up till 2 decimal points. I have told you already in module number 1 that or during selection of preferred numbers that it is very difficult to produce 2 or 3 decimal places values of any particular machine component. So I will just approximate it, this 33.65 mm value, to 35 mm. So if thickness is 35 mm, what will be the value of depth? Depth will be 2 times of thickness T, that is 35. That means 2 into 35 is how much? 70 mm. So the dimensions of the given cross section of the bracket is 35 into 70 mm. Is it clear the problem? कोई doubt किसी को?
No, sir.
Simple problem है, fine. The only thing is that by identifying the problem, you have to see what is happening in the problem. क्या कोई एक लोड के वजह से पूरे प्रॉब्लम में टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस जनरेट हो रहा है, या सभी लोड के वजह से पूरे प्रॉब्लम में बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस जनरेट हो रहा है, या फिर बेंडिंग प्लस टेंशन प्लस टॉर्शन का कॉम्बिनेशन हो रहा है. अकॉर्डिंगली यू हैव टू यूज द फॉर्मूला. You have to use the correct formula for the different theories of failure, and you have to design the component. That is, you have to find out the particular dimensions of the component. Fine. Okay. So if nobody is having any kind of doubt, then we will move on to the next problem. आगे बढ़े next problem के.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next problem is little bit typical problem. थोड़ा सा typical problem है. This problem. Let us read the problem. ये आप ही लोग सॉल्व करोगे. अभी तक मैंने 3 प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया है. कल 2 प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया. आज अभी तीसरा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया. अभी ये प्रॉब्लम आप सॉल्व करोगे. आपको सवाल को देख के पहले ये समझना पड़ेगा कि हो क्या रहा है पूरे बॉडी में. टेंशन हो रहा है, कंप्रेशन हो रहा है, या टॉर्क लग रहा है, या बेंडिंग हो रहा है, उसके वजह से बेंडिंग स्ट्रेस जनरेट हो रहा है. फाइन. लेट अस रीड द प्रॉब्लम. द शाफ्ट of an overhang crank. This is your crank. This entire figure is nothing but your crank. This is your shaft. Fine. And this is one shaft. This is another shaft. Overall, they are calling this entire body as a crank. The shaft of an overhang crank subjected to a force P of 1 kilonewton. This is your force P. And the value of force P is 1 kilonewton. Is shown in the figure. This is your diagram. The shaft is made up of plain carbon steel 45C8 and tensile yield strength is 380 न्यूटन पर मिलीमीटर स्क्वायर. अब ये क्या है 380 न्यूटन पर मिलीमीटर स्क्वायर? ये कौन सा वैल्यू है?
SYT.
SYT कैसे पता चला SYT है?
Sir, yield strength is written.
अगर मान लो यील्ड स्ट्रेंथ लिखा नहीं होता, मान लो ये क्वेश्चन मैं एग्जाम में देता और यहाँ पे लिखा रहता कि द शाफ्ट इज मेड अप ऑफ प्लेन कार्बन स्टील
सर
45
स्टील से ही कार्बन स्टील लिखा है, उससे पता चल रहा है।
Yes, since the shaft is made up of plain carbon steel, and I know that plain carbon steel is ductile material, so this value 380 Newton per millimeter square is nothing but yield strength value. अगर ये yield strength नहीं लिखा है तो आपको ऐसे समझना पड़ेगा कि ये yield strength है, ठीक है? So this SYT is given to me, that is 380 Newton per millimeter square. Factor of safety is 2. Okay. Determine the diameter of the shaft using maximum shear stress theory of failure. That means you need to find out the dia of the shaft. What is the dia of the shaft? D by maximum shear stress theory of failure. तो इस क्वेश्चन को कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे? इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करेंगे दो तरीके से। पहला तरीका, आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि मैक्सिमम शियर स्ट्रेस थ्योरी क्या बोलता है और उसके हिसाब से विच फॉर्मूला आई हैव टू अप्लाई, एंड सेकेंडली by looking at the problem you have to identify or you have to understand that this particular load P is doing what in the problem. Due to this load P, whether bending stress is acting in the problem or whether torsional stress is acting or tensile stress is acting. तो अब आप मेरे को इस डायग्राम को देख के बताओ कि हो क्या रहा है इस डायग्राम में। बोलो, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग?
सर टॉर्जनल और शेयर तो पता चल रहा है।
टॉर्शन और शेयर एक ही है। टॉर्शन टॉर्शन मतलब क्या? टॉर्शन मतलब टॉर्क।
यस सर,
टॉर्क की वजह से शेयर
शेयर
स्ट्रेस जनरेट
शेयर से
होगा।
लग रहा है सर, टॉर्जन से शेयर
अच्छा,
हो रहा
शेयर स्ट्रेस लग रहा है। कैसे लग रहा है थोड़ा एक्सप्लेन करो डायग्राम देख के। शेयर कहाँ पे लग रहा है और कैसे लग रहा है?
है। जहाँ पे पी लोड लग रहा है उसको मूव करने के लिए, घुमाने के लिए सर, वहां से
देखो, टॉर्शन क्या? टॉर्क इज नथिंग बट टॉर्क इज अ टाइप ऑफ मूवमेंट। फोर्स इनटू परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस आपको टॉर्क देगा। तो कौन सा फोर्स? फोर्स तो पता चल रहा है कि पी। कौन सा डिस्टेंस? उस पी को किसी डिस्टेंस के साथ मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, तब जाके आपको टॉर्क मिलेगा। तो कौन से डिस्टेंस के साथ आप मल्टीप्लाई करोगे? क्या आप पी इंटू 500 करोगे मल्टीप्लाई, या फिर आप पी इंटू 250 को मल्टीप्लाई करोगे? सोचो, बाकी लोग भी सोचो और बताओ कौन कौन सा स्ट्रेस जनरेट होगा।
देखने से तो 500 वाला से मल्टीप्लाई होना चाहिए सर नॉर्मली।
अच्छा, बाकी लोग क्या सोच रहे हो? कौन कौन सा स्ट्रेस जनरेट होगा यहाँ पे? क्योंकि इस पर्टिकुलर बॉडी में
सर
क्रिटिकल
डाउट है
पॉइंट
सर,
है
250 भी हो
पॉइंट ए।
सकता है ऐसा लग रहा है।
अगर आप देखो, ये जो पूरा शाफ्ट है, ये इस वॉल से, मान लो अगर मैं इसको वॉल बोलूं, इस रेक्टेंगुलर ऑब्जेक्ट को वॉल बोलूं, वॉल से कनेक्टेड है एट पॉइंट ए। तो आपका ये बॉडी पॉइंट ए के अबाउट ही फेल होगा ड्यू टू दिस लोड पी, बिकॉज एंटायर बॉडी इज कनेक्टेड टू दिस वॉल एट पॉइंट ए। अब ये फेल कैसे होगा? ये टॉर्शन से फेल होगा, बेंडिंग से फेल होगा, या टेंशन में फेल होगा? ये आपको पता करना है। पता करो। बाकी लोग बोलो कुछ, कैसे फेल होगा? सोचो सोचो, दिमाग लगाओ। क्वेश्चन इस टाइप के ही आएंगे, एग्जाम में भी इस टाइप के ही आएंगे थ्योरी ऑफ फेलियर में। एकदम फॉर्मूले में पुट करने वाला क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा, मतलब मैं तो नहीं दूंगा एकदम फॉर्मूले में पुट करने वाला क्वेश्चन, तो आपको समझना पड़ेगा। अभी तक मैंने 3 प्रॉब्लम बता दिया कैसे कैसे हो रहा है। अब आप देख के बताओ कैसे हो रहा है, इसमें क्या हो रहा है, कैसे फेल होगा। बोलो, आप लोग ट्राई करो, फिर तो मैं बोलूंगा ही लास्ट में। आप लोग ट्राई करो पहले। Okay. If you see कैसा है arrangement, assume that this is my wall and say this is my one shaft, ठीक है, along x axis and along z axis this is my shaft. दिखाई दे रहा है? दिखाई दे रहा है? हेलो,
यस सर।
दिखाई दे रहा है? ठीक है, ये जो शाफ्ट है, इस शाफ्ट पे, इस पॉइंट पे लोड P लग रहा है, फाइन। तो P इंटू 500, P इंटू 500 क्या करेगा? P इंटू 500 एट पॉइंट ए, इसको ट्विस्ट करने का कोशिश करेगा, घुमाएगा।
Yes, sir.
ये जो शाफ्ट है जो z एक्सिस के पैरेलल है, ये जो शाफ्ट है, इस शाफ्ट को, ये जो शाफ्ट है, इफ आई टेक P, लोड P इंटू 500, ये एक टॉर्क क्रिएट करेगा। दैट मीन्स ये जो शाफ्ट है जो z एक्सिस के पैरेलल है, ये पॉइंट ए के अबाउट इसको मोड़ने का कोशिश करेगा P इंटू 500, अगर मैं टॉर्क अप्लाई करूंगा। आया समझ में?
Yes, sir.
वही लोड P इंटू 250, ठीक है। अगर इस लोड P को आप उठा के अगर यहाँ पे रखो, कहाँ पे रखो? यहाँ पे रखो, जहां पे ये this shaft, the shaft which is parallel to z axis and the shaft which is kept on x axis, this is that particular point. Same load P acting in the same vertical downward direction, उसको उठा के अगर आप यहाँ पे रखोगे तो P इंटू 250, जो ये एक्स एक्सिस पे जो शाफ्ट है, इसको पॉइंट ए के अबाउट बेंड करने का कोशिश करेगा। ये जो लोड P है, ये आपका वॉल है, ठीक है। दिस इज योर शाफ्ट विच इज लाइंग ऑन द एक्स एक्सिस, दिस वाज P, if this P, this is your z axis shaft parallel to that z axis. If I take this P and if I keep this P at the junction, which junction point? At the junction of this particular shaft which is parallel to z axis and the shaft which is lying on the x axis, this is the junction point. If I keep this force like this, then P into this 250 will try to bend this shaft. Which shaft? That particular shaft which is lying on the x axis. Yes or no? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So P into 250, this will create a bending moment on the shaft which is lying on the x axis and will try to bend this shaft at point A. So bending stress will be generated on this shaft which is lying on the x axis, as well as P into 500 will create a torque on which shaft? On this particular shaft which is parallel to z axis and will try to twist this particular shaft at point A. So this P into 500, this will create a torsional stress in the entire problem, and the P into 250 moment will create a bending stress in the entire problem. That means in this problem, bending is also happening as well as torsion is also happening. In the last problem, only bending and tension was happening. क्या ये बात समझ में आया? कोई डाउट है? हेलो,
नो
No,
सर।
sir.
फाइन, ओके। तो इस पूरे कंपोनेंट को मैंने एक स्मॉल कंपोनेंट ले लिया, मैंने एक रेक्टेंगुलर कंपोनेंट मान लिया। जो पूरा जो प्रॉब्लम है मेरा शाफ्ट का, ठीक है, मैंने इसको एक रेक्टेंगुलर कंपोनेंट मान लिया। Fine. This is my x-axis, this is my z-axis, this is my y-axis. From the problem, it is clear that bending stress is acting along x-axis on the shaft which is lying on the x-axis. So this sigma x will be nothing but sigma b, bending stress, which is a normal stress. And from the problem, it is also clear that a torsional stress will act on the shaft which is parallel to the z-axis, that is this particular shaft. and this torsional stress will act in xz plane or zx plane. So the value of that torsional shear stress will be either tau xz or tau zx. It is given in this diagram. इज इट क्लियर? क्या ये डायग्राम क्लियर हुआ? ये जो फिगर नंबर बी है, कोई डाउट किसी को फिगर नंबर बी पे?
No, sir.
Okay, then I know, then if I want to solve this problem, I want to do what? I want to solve this problem by using maximum shear stress theory. Then according to maximum shear stress theory, any material will fail. That means for my problem, this is that a particular component, any component will fail when maximum shear stress of that component. That means for this particular problem, I have to find out the value of maximum shear stress. That I have to equate it with which value of shear stress, which with that particular value of shear stress, with which, that means when the maximum shear stress of this problem is equal to maximum shear stress of a standard specimen that we test in UTM. And you know that when you test that particular specimen in UTM, maximum shear stress is given by SSY, which is 0.5 times of SUT. We already have derived. So that SSY will be equal to maximum shear stress of this problem. And how to find out this maximum shear stress of this particular problem? Easily I can find it out if I draw the Mohr circle for this particular problem. Fine. Then from that Mohr circle, if I find out the value of maximum shear stress, and if I equate that maximum shear stress with the maximum shear stress of the standard specimen in yielding, if I equate those two values, then I can get the diameter of the shaft. Is the concept clear? क्या concept clear है? हम लोग कैसे solve करेंगे? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us solve the problem. So very first step is what? Very first step is we have to find out what? We have to find out the permissible stress of the problem. Permissible stress of the problem, and that permissible stress we have to equate with the maximum shear stress of this particular problem. Fine. How to find it out? Again, we know that what? Factor of safety is failure stress by allowable stress. In this condition, for this problem, failure stress is what? Failure stress will be yield strength in shear, that is SSY, because we have to use maximum shear stress theory, and by maximum shear stress theory we know that this SSY is what? This SSY is 0.5 times of SYT. So factor of safety is equal to SSY, which is 0.5 times of SYT by permissible stress. So permissible stress becomes 0.5 times of SYT by factor of safety. Let us find it out. So maximum permissible stress, that means this value, this maximum permissible stress, we are denoting it by tau max. So tau max is equal to failure stress by factor of safety, and failure stress is 0.5 times of SYT. So SSY, that is 0.5 times of SYT. 0.5 into SYT is 380, that is 190. So this is your SSY. By factor of safety is 2. 190 by 2 is 95 Newton per millimeter square. That means maximum permissible tau max of the problem cannot exceed 95 Newton per millimeter square. And this maximum value of tau max, this maximum value of tau max, that is 95, I have to equate with the maximum shear stress of the problem, which I will, this maximum value of shear stress of the problem, which I will find it out by the help of Mohr circle. Is it clear? क्या ये clear हुआ? Equation number 1 clear हुआ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next is, since we know that this P into 500 is creating a torque on this entire problem, due to which shear stress is acting, and P into 250 is creating bending in the entire problem at point A, due to which bending stress is acting. So let us find it out individually. What is the value of shear stress and what is the value of bending stress? Let us find it out. So bending moment MB will be how much? MB will be P into 250. P is given in the problem 1 kilonewton. If you solve it, you will get the value of MB to be 250 into 10 to the power 3 Newton millimeter. Next is we have to find out the value of torque, that is MT, and from the problem it is very much clear that this torque MT will be what? MT will be P into 500. That means 1 kilonewton into 500, and that value is comes out to be P into 500. P is what? 1 kilonewton, that is 1000 Newton into 500, that is 500 into 10 to the power 3 Newton millimeter. Is it clear the value of MB and value of MT? क्या किसी को कोई डाउट है यहाँ तक?
No, sir.
Okay. Since we found out the value of MB and MT, we can find out the value of sigma B and tau. Sigma B is nothing but bending equation, which we know already, that is M into Y by I. M is the bending moment. Already we have calculated 250 into 10 to the power 3 into Y. Y is what? Y is half of the neutral axis. And if we see the problem, if we see the problem, this is the neutral axis, this dash 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 line is the neutral axis. If D is the dia of the shaft, then half of the dia is what? D by 2. That will be the value of Y. So Y is D by 2 divided by I. And for circular cross section, moment of inertia is pi by 64 into D to the power 4. If you substitute all these values in the equation of sigma B, you will get the value of sigma B to be 2546.48 into 10 cube divided by D cube Newton per millimeter square. This is the value of sigma B. Is it clear? कोई डाउट किसी को sigma B तक? कोई डाउट है किसी को सिग्मा बी तक?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Next, we have to find out the value of shear stress. For that, we will be using the torsion equation, and that torsion equation is T by J equal to tau by R, which is equal to G into theta by L. Since nothing has been told about G, theta and L, so I will ignore this third term and I will take this first two term. So tau will be T into R by J, and in this question we have written T, torque, in the form of MT. So this tau will be MT into R by J. See, tau is equal to MT into R by J. MT is nothing but torque. Already we have calculated 500 into 10 to the power 3 into small r. Radius of the shaft, that is D by 2 divided by J. J is what? J is polar moment of inertia of the shaft, which is nothing but pi by 32 D to the power 4. If you solve this expression of tau, you will get the value of shear stress tau to be 2546.48 into 10 cube by D cube Newton per mm square. Is it clear the value of sigma B and tau? कोई doubt यहाँ तक?
No, sir.
Okay. Now we can see we got the value of sigma B, we got the value of tau. Fine. So it is very much clear from the problem that sigma B is nothing but bending stress acting along x-axis, and tau is shear stress which is acting on xz plane. This is x, this is z. On this xz plane, the shaft which is parallel to that axis is kept. So if you treat this entire shaft as a single component, So this is your x direction, this is your z direction. Sigma x is nothing but sigma b, which is the normal bending stress, and tau xz is nothing but tau, that is shear stress, which we have already calculated. So how we can get the value of tau max? There are two options. Either you draw the Mohr circle, from that Mohr circle you measure what is tau max, or else you use the simple known equation, and that equation is, wait 1 minute. Yes, that equation is what? That equation is, we know that maximum or minimum principal stress is given by 1 comma 2. Sigma 1 comma 2 is what? Sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus minus under root of x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau xy. Why I have taken x? Because I have assumed that sigma 1 is, that is this first plane is x plane, second plane is y plane, xy square. But in my problem, my problem is associated with which plane? My problem is associated with xz plane. So in this expression, sigma x will be as it is sigma x, and sigma y will become sigma z. Since there is no sigma z in the problem, if you see in this problem, there is no normal stresses acting along sigma z direction. Only shear stress is acting in z direction. So from this expression, in this expression, sigma y is 0. Sigma y is 0, and sigma x becomes sigma z, and this tau xy becomes tau xz. So your final equation becomes sigma 1 comma 2 is equal to sigma x by 2 plus minus under root sigma x by 2 whole square plus tau xz whole square, which is nothing but this expression. That is this expression, sigma x by 2 whole square plus tau xz whole square. And this value is your maximum shear stress. This root value is your maximum shear stress. Is it clear? क्या कोई डाउट है यहाँ तक किसी को?
No, sir.
Fine. So tau max is sigma x by 2 whole square plus tau xz whole square. Sigma x is nothing but sigma b. Already we have calculated 2546.48 into 10 to the power 3 by d cube, and tau xz is nothing but tau, which also we have calculated 2546.48 into 10 cube by d cube. So substitute these values in this equation of tau max. You will get the maximum tau max to be 2847.05 into 10 cube by d cube. This is one method of calculating tau max. There is another method also. That method is Mohr circle method. That means for this particular state of stress problem, you have to draw the Mohr circle. How I will draw? For that, I know that x-axis of Mohr circle represent my normal stress, that is sigma, and y-axis of the Mohr circle represent shear stress tau. Let us consider, and we know that all the peripheral points of Mohr circle represent plane. So if I consider this particular plane, coordinate of this plane is what? Sigma x comma tau xz, because sigma x is along x direction and tau xz is along y direction. So the coordinate of this point is sigma x comma tau xz. I am assuming clockwise tau to be positive and anti-clockwise tau to be negative. So this is my origin. From origin point, this is my sigma x, and from origin point, say this is my tau. That means this particular point I got. This particular point is sigma x comma tau xz. Similarly, in y direction, if I see, y means sorry, z direction, if I see, this is my z direction, fine. There is no sigma y, so 0, comma, tau zx, tau xz and tau zx both are same but are in opposite direction. Tau here, tau zx is creating anti-clockwise moment. If I have taken clockwise moment positive, I have to take this anti-clockwise moment negative. That means 0 comma tau zx is the coordinate point for this particular plane. So this is your 0 comma minus tau zx. That means you have to go downstairs this particular point. This is your tau zx, and this tau zx is equal to tau xz. That means you will measure this particular length in your compass. You will place your compass at this particular point. Along this vertical y-axis, you will cut an arc. You get your tau zx, this particular point. Now, in order to draw the Mohr circle, join this particular point with this particular point by a straight line. This is that straight line. Fine. Now, this straight line is intersecting your x-axis at point E. Now, EC or EB is nothing but the radius of the Mohr circle. You will take your compass, you will measure either EC or EB, place your compass at point E and draw this Mohr circle. Once you draw this Mohr circle, you know that on your x-axis, this is the maximum point of the circle and this is the minimum point on the circle. So from origin to this particular point, this is your sigma 1. And from origin towards negative hand side of x-axis till this point, this is your sigma 2. And how to calculate? We are not interested in sigma 1, sigma 2. Why? Because we need to solve this problem by maximum shear stress theory. So we are interested in tau max. And the tau max is nothing but this particular value. That is the radius of this circle. And this tau max will be nothing but equal to EC. EC is also the radius of the circle, and how you will get the value of EC? EC is nothing but, if you consider this triangle ECD, by Pythagoras theorem you can write EC is equal to ED square plus DC square. What is ED? ED is nothing but half of OD. O2D is your sigma x. So ED will be what? Sigma x by 2, half. And what is CD? CD is nothing but tau xz. So sigma x by 2 under root of C under root of ED square. ED is sigma x by 2 whole square plus tau xz by whole square. So either you can draw this Mohr circle and then you find out the value of tau max, or directly you can use this expression of tau max. This expression of tau max to get the value of tau max, which is coming out to be 2847.05 into 10 cube by d cube. Equation number 2. Is the step clear? Equation number 2. कोई डाउट है?
Yes, sir.
बाकी लोगों को कोई डाउट है टाउ मैक्स में?
नो सर।
दो तरीका है, आइदर आप मोहर सर्कल यूज करके टाउ मैक्स का वैल्यू निकालो, वो थोड़ा लंबा तरीका है। मैं क्या प्रीफर करूंगा, डायरेक्टली यू कैन यूज द फॉर्मूला and get the value of tau max. So according to, now what we need to find out the value of the diameter of the shaft by maximum shear stress theory. Now according to maximum shear stress theory, this component, that means this particular component will fail when maximum shear stress of this particular component, which is how much we have already calculated. Maximum shear stress of this component is this tau max. When you equate this maximum shear stress with the maximum permissible stress of the problem, we have already calculated the value of maximum permissible stress in step number 1 tau max, which is 95 Newton per mm square. So you equate both the two values, then get the value of diameter D, which is coming out to be 31.06 mm. Again, it will be difficult for the manufacturer to produce this 31.06 mm length exactly. So let us round it off to 32 mm. So this is the final diameter of the shaft, which will be found out by, or which has been find it out by this maximum shear stress theory of failure. क्या क्लियर हुआ ये प्रॉब्लम? कोई डाउट किसी को इस प्रॉब्लम में?
नो सर।
फाइन, थोड़ा अच्छा प्रॉब्लम है। जो अभी तक मैंने आपको 4 प्रॉब्लम कराए हैं, चारों प्रॉब्लम एकदम टू दी पॉइंट प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है? आपको पहले समझना पड़ेगा प्रॉब्लम में हो क्या रहा है, अकॉर्डिंगली यू हैव टू एक्ट। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई SYT है कि SUT है, question पढ़ के। Secondly, then you have to identify how you have to design this problem, whether you are using principal stress theory, shear stress theory or distortion energy theory. अगर question में कोई भी theory नहीं दिया हुआ है, then it is your choice, you can use any theory, but उस पे भी depend करेगा। अगर brittle material है तब तो हमेशा principal stress theory use करना है, अगर ductile material है then either you can use distortion energy theory or you can use maximum shear stress theory। और तीसरा केस, अगर क्वेश्चन में बोल दिया गया है कि नहीं you have to use only maximum shear stress theory, then you have to use that theory, or you have to use only maximum distortion energy theory of failure, then you have to use that theory of failure to solve the problem। And the fourth step is you have to identify the problem due to this particular load, what all or the problem is subjected to how many type of stresses, accordingly you have to get the dimension of the problem। ठीक है? कोई डाउट? हेलो, कोई डाउट है किसी को?
नहीं सर।
Okay, with this I end my today's lecture over here. My Thursday's class will be taken by Arpan sir. I will again meet you for the theory class on next Monday, and on next Monday we will solve 2 more problems related to this theory of failure, and with this we will end the module number 2. So if you are having any doubt, I am here for 2 more minutes in this meeting. You can ask me regarding today's lecture, regarding yesterday's lecture, or else you give your attendance and you can leave the meeting. Thank you.
थैंक यू सर।
If anybody is having any kind of doubt, I am here in the meeting for 2 minutes. You can ask me, or else if you have given your attendance, you can leave the meeting. That is all for today. I hope, okay, no one is responding, so I feel that there is no doubt in today's class. So I am ending this meeting over here only. Okay, thank you.